Hey, what's up, fellow anglers? It's Aaron LeSieur here, and I'm out here on Folsom Lake. It's Sunday, holiday weekend, and we're coming out here to show you a little bit something different than what I did in episode 1. Episode 1, we went to the south end to show you some areas where you could go fish and catch some fish before the boat traffic got crazy. So this episode, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. We're on the north end this morning. I've got my cute co-host here, Trisha D.
Hi.
And we came up here past the buoys on the north end in an area I've never fished before, and to try to find some spots where you can come on these holiday weekends or just a weekend in general when the boat traffic gets nutty and you can't get out here real early, and try to catch some fish and not get, pushed around and beat up by the boat traffic. So what I did was I went on Google Earth, pulled up the map, and I picked about 5 or 6 areas that I wanted to fish based on the map. Now the water level was really low, so I could see all these cool rock piles and where the river turned and areas where I think the fish are gonna group up and school up and we can possibly catch a few. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate through about 5 spots, hit them anywhere between 30 minutes and 1 hour to try to get in and out of here in about 5 hours before it gets too hot and before all the big boats come in here and it gets crazy and we gotta run all the way across the lake back to Folsom Point to get the boat on. So let's go out, see what we can put together, and hopefully get some fish in the boat and show you guys a few things that you can do on your own out here. Okay, we're over here, spot number 1, and this is on a little point. I found some rocks on that Google Earth. I do want to point out one thing. Now, when I was on Google Earth, what I did was I opened up my Navionics app on my phone, and what I did was I marked and put a pin on every point that I wanted to fish. When I looked it up on Google Earth, it's hard to say that word, and then I put it on my phone, so when we came out here, I just have to open up my Navionics app and then look to see where these areas are, and we can just go to them. Now, you could, if you had extra time, take all the waypoints off of Google Earth and put them in your Lowrance unit, and then you'd actually have your waypoints sitting in your Lowrance unit versus on your Navionics app. But I didn't plan that very well, so it's on my app right now, and we're still gonna be able to hit these. So right now, we're gonna work a lot of these points. I brought only down baits. I've got a tube. Trisha's got a drop shot. We brought some Senkos, underspin. I think that's pretty much it. And we're gonna try to get bit on these baits, keep it simple. You ready to catch some fish?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
All right.
Boom, all right.
This line matches the water perfectly. I can't even see it.
I know, I've been meaning, after I go through all this line, I'm gonna switch it over to a different color, like yellow.
Really? Why would you have it yellow?
Because then, that's a carp. Because then you can see your line easier and watch it for bites. When the line's the same color as the water, it's really hard to see where your line is. And then if a fish bumps it or taps it on slack line, you can pick it up easier.
But I thought you didn't want them to see it.
So I put a leader on it, and so they can't see it when it's in the water, but we need to be able to see it when the fish bite. Okay, so spot number 1, we fished here for about 35 minutes maybe. We tried a drop shot, a tube, and an underspin. No bites. Saw some fish on the graph, but we're gonna move into some trees that are in between spot 1 and 2, throw some Senkos around there really quick, and then we're gonna head over to spot number 2. Okay, so right now we're in this little grove of trees. This grove of trees is between spot 1 and spot 2. And we're in 13 feet of water. There's lots of shade being provided by these trees right now. So I thought we'd, on the way from spot 1 to spot 2, that we'd just throw a few casts in here. Weightless Senko was what Trisha is throwing. And I've got a drop shot that I'm just trying to see if there any of these fish are cruising around through these groves here. We've been here for about 15, 20 minutes, haven't gotten a bite yet. But we had to give it a try because it looked good, and we're still trying to figure out what the fish are doing up here in this arm. So we're gonna make a few more casts, and then we're gonna head over to spot number 2, which is another point just up the way. It's got some rocky structure on it, or cover, and see if we can't figure out what these fish are doing up here in this north arm. So what we're doing on these spots is we're staying off the shore about 20 yards, casting up and bringing it back to the boat. We make one pass all the way around the point. After that, we don't get bit. We turn back around and we get close to shore and we throw out deep, and then we bring our baits up the slope. So to see if now we can pull some of these fish out of the deeper parts of the water column to try to figure out the zone that they're in. And so right now we're sitting in 5 feet of water and we're throwing out into 30. For the next couple of hours, we ended up fishing through all the areas I had located on Google Earth with 0 bites. You can see all the waypoints listed here. So we decided to scrap those areas altogether and run way up north to see if we could locate any other areas that could possibly be holding bass. Okay, so we went through all those morning spots and had 0 bites. Now the water clarity up here is only about 1 to 2 feet. So we decided to come way upriver. This is the farthest I've ever been up on this river. And we're gonna fish a lot of these steep banks on the way back to see if maybe there's some current breaks or the wind pushing up on a bank and possibly get some bites way up here, because nothing was happening down by the 5-mile-an-hour buoy. So we're gonna try some of the same stuff. Let's see if we can put it together. Got one.
Yes!
Yeah. Feels pretty good too.
All right, you need the net?
Yeah, but I didn't bring one. Okay, it was right off that little rocky. Oh, this is a pretty good one.
Oh
He's pulling pretty hard.
See him.
I'm gonna swing him in, so back up just a little bit. Okay, you can still stand up. Okay. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Oh, real nice one. Look how big that one is.
All right.
It's only been 3.5 hours, but we didn't give up. Hit the underspin, right there, the underspin. Come on up here, get back up. Hit the underspin. Trisha's doing the drop shot. I got the underspin going. I need to hit the anchor. And we're just following this steep bank way upriver here and decided just to mix it up. We needed some current. The water was really dirty back there, and he ate that thing pretty much on the fall. That's a nice one right there. So after that first fish catch, we ended up fishing for at least another hour or so, fishing the same steep banks with rocks, making our way back to our starting point. I ended up catching 2 more small ones on the underspin. I didn't have my main camera running, but luckily the GoPro was running and I got one of those fish catches on film. All right, so we wrapped up our day. We spent about 5 hours out here searching areas for bass up here on this north side. And the morning was super slow. All those areas that I had looked at and found on Google Earth had 0 bites. So we scrapped that plan, went way up north and started fishing some different areas, some rocky walls that had a little bit of wind blowing on them. The water was a little bit clearer. The water up here on the north is only about 1 to 2 feet of visibility. We ended up getting 3 to the boat and probably having about 6 or 7 bites. And the bait that was really working up there was the Blade Runner underspin. You've seen this in my other video. It's this 3/8 ounce underspin unpainted head with the 3.8 fat Kitech on here. I'll show you this bait, see if it comes up in focus. Again, now I have this rigged up on a 15-pound leader P-line with a double uni knot with, again, straight braid, 20-pound Power Pro. This is on another Revo STX 6/4-1. I use that reel because when you're just, it picks up a lot of line when you're making those casts, and it allows you to, if a fish is coming at you, catch up to them at any point in time so they don't try to beat you by coming at the boat and putting some slack in the line and throwing your bait. The other thing I have it on is this Dobbins rod, and you're gonna see it's got a little bit of a good bend in this tip, so it's got a soft tip to make some accurate casts. And then when that fish loads up on the bait, it's slow enough to keep it in there, and then once it gets about a quarter of the way down, it's got all that backbone to set the hook. This is the Dobbins 733 CH. It's CSH, split handle is what the SH stands for. And so the I like the 7-foot rod. I can get some long casts out there. It's 7.3 actually. And that little bit extra 3 inches, some of my other rods are 7 feet. That little bit of extra 3 inches of rod allows you to make a little bit longer cast and put it in some pretty good spots so that if there's any areas that were tight. We didn't have any areas like that out here today. We were just fishing along the bank line, and we got into a scenario where we're going back into the wind, so this rod really helped me get that little extra cast because it was just a little bit longer and that soft tip that I could really throw it into the wind, and I had my reel set up perfectly with the brakes that I wasn't backlashing at all. So if you decide to come up here, if I was going to do this again, I would go straight up the river, this time to that spot that we first got bit, and I would go the other way and maybe hop back and forth to try to find little areas that were just like that where they're schooled up, and throw this underspin around and just cover a bunch of water. We fished really slow in the morning and that produced nothing. Once we started fishing a little faster in the afternoon, we started getting bit. I got bit, Trisha got bit a couple times on a different bait. So what Trisha got bit on, she had a fish hooked up, but he actually was just on the end of it, never got the hook in his mouth. This is just another Kitech. This is the 3.5. It's the thin one. And I've got it on a little flick shake head right here. Hopefully you can see that if it gets in focus. And it basically is kind of the same thing as the underspin. It's just a little bait that when it falls, it flutters down. I want to get the exact name for you guys on this style of bait. So basically the head on this it's a Gamakatsu wacky head. This happens to be the size is a 1/0 and it's a 3/16. It's got a little weed guard on it. So when you throw it, it just flutters straight down, and then you can pick it up, let it flutter straight down, or you can just do a straight retrieve on it with that Kitech on there. We just had it on the same bait, or this rod you've seen before that I've shown, just the Dobbins Fury. It's good to throw these on the spinning rod because you make a long cast and the bait is not that heavy, so you can't really throw it on a bait caster or you'll backlash it a lot. It's the Fury FR703 SF. Plenty of tip on this, good backbone. You can see it's got enough soft tip that you can make accurate casts. It's just on this Lew's Mach 2, and like you've seen it before, it's on this cool looking green rod, and then the combo looks sweet. It's green and black. So that was it. That basically, that was our day. Like I said, if you guys come up and do the same thing, I'd run up the river. I'll probably come up here one more time to see if I can get more bites and just go the other direction. So if you like what you see, make sure you leave a comment, subscribe to the page, and we'll see you again next time. Stay focused, fish hard, and I'll see you out on the water. Got another one. Oh!
I got one.
Oh shit.
Aaron! Dang it! He was right there. He was on it. Did you see that?
Well, did he eat it, or did he? Oh, he took your tail off.
Tail.
No, I would have seen it, but that bait was coming right at my face.